Admiral Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the UES Defiant, Earth's flagship, as it approached the looming Voidborn mothership. Her heart raced, but her voice remained steady as she addressed her crew. "This is it, people. First contact. Let's show them what humanity's made of." The Voidborn emissary, a shimmering mass of purple energy, materialized on the Defiant's bridge. Its voice resonated in their minds, a cacophony of whispers and echoes. "Greetings, humans. We come seeking refuge and alliance." Admiral Chen's brow furrowed. Refuge from what? The emissary's form flickered, projecting images of a terrifying force consuming entire galaxies. The Devourers. They consume all in their path. Your galaxy is next. As the gravity of the situation sank in, Earth's leaders convened an emergency summit. Representatives from every nation gathered to debate the Voidborn's warning and request for aid. Some advocated for immediate action, while others urged caution. Dr. Aisha Patel, Earth's leading xenobiologist, presented her findings. The Voidborn are unlike anything we've encountered. Their energy-based physiology gives them incredible abilities, but it also makes them vulnerable to certain types of radiation. General Marcus Williams, a grizzled veteran of Earth's past conflicts, leaned forward. "So they're not invincible. But can they help us fight these Devourers?" The Voidborn emissary appeared again, its form rippling with urgency. "We possess advanced technology, but our non-corporeal nature limits our ability to interact with physical matter. We need your help to build defenses and weapons." As debates raged on, a young engineer named Zara Rodriguez approached Admiral Chen with an idea. What if we could combine our physical technology with their energy-based systems? We might create something entirely new. Admiral Chen's eyes lit up. That's the kind of thinking we need. Assemble a team and get to work. Over the next few weeks, Earth became a hive of activity. Scientists and engineers from around the world collaborated with the Voidborn, sharing knowledge and pushing the boundaries of what was possible. Zara and her team worked tirelessly, fueled by caffeine and the thrill of discovery. They developed a prototype device that could harness the Voidborn's energy to power advanced weaponry and shields. As the first successful tests were conducted, a sense of hope began to spread. Humanity, once divided by borders and ideologies, found itself united in the face of a common threat. Admiral Chen stood before the United Nations, her voice firm with resolve. "We have a chance to not only save ourselves, but to become something greater. The Voidborn have shown us wonders beyond our imagination, and in return, we've shown them the strength of the human spirit." But even as Earth prepared for the coming storm, the first signs of the Devourer's approach appeared on the edge of the solar system. A Voidborn scout returned with dire news. The enemy would reach Earth within a month. The race against time had begun. Humanity would need every ounce of its ingenuity, courage, and determination to face the threat that loomed on the horizon. As the first part of this cosmic drama came to a close, the stage was set for a battle that would determine the fate of not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. As news of the impending Devourer threat spread across the solar system, Earth's colonies on Mars and the moons of Jupiter and Saturn scrambled to evacuate. The Voidborn's massive ships, now in orbit around Earth, became temporary shelters for millions of displaced humans. Admiral Chen found herself at the center of a hastily formed Galactic alliance, comprised of humanity and the Voidborn. In the war room of the UES Defiant, holographic displays showed the Devourer's relentless advance. They've already consumed 3 star systems in the past week. A Voidborn strategist named Zephyr reported, its energy form pulsing with concern. Their rate of consumption is accelerating. Dr. Patel, who had been studying the Devourer's biology, stepped forward. From what we can gather, they're a hive mind entity. They don't just destroy worlds, they assimilate them, adding to their collective intelligence and power. General Williams slammed his fist on the table. Then we need to hit them hard and fast before they reach us. What about that new weapon your team's been working on, Rodriguez? Zara Rodriguez, now the head of the Human Voidborn Integration Project, looked up from her data pad. The Nexus cannon is promising, but we're having trouble stabilizing the energy output. If we fire it at full power, it could tear a hole in the fabric of space-time. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Admiral Chen broke the tension. We need options, people. The fate of our civilization, of all civilizations, hangs in the balance. As if on cue, an alarm blared. A junior officer rushed in, his face pale. Admiral, we've lost contact with the Titan outpost. The Devourers have entered the solar system. The news hit like a physical blow. Humanity's last line of defense had fallen far sooner than anyone had anticipated. The enemy was at their doorstep. In the following days, a sense of grim determination settled over Earth. Cities were converted into fortresses, and every available ship was armed for battle. The Voidborn shared what they knew of the Devourers' tactics, but it was clear that this enemy was unlike anything either species had faced before. Zara and her team worked around the clock, pushing the limits of science and their own endurance. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A young Voidborn scientist named Lyra, whose unique perspective on quantum entanglement provided the key to stabilizing the Nexus cannon. As Zara explained the solution to the Alliance leadership, a spark of hope ignited in the room. By creating a network of quantum-entangled particles throughout our fleet, she said, her eyes bright with excitement, we can distribute the energy load of the Nexus cannon. It's not just a weapon anymore. It's a shield that can protect our entire system. Admiral Chen nodded, a smile tugging at her lips. Outstanding work, Rodriguez. How soon can we implement this? Zara's expression turned serious. That's the catch, Admiral. We need to position relay stations throughout the solar system. It'll take time, and we'll be vulnerable while we set them up. General Williams leaned forward, his tactical mind already working. We'll need a diversion. Something to keep the Devourers occupied while we prepare our defenses. The Voidborn emissary, who had been silent until now, spoke up. We may have a solution. Our kind can project convincing illusions across vast distances. We could create the appearance of a valuable target to draw the Devourers away temporarily. A plan began to take shape. The Alliance would split its forces. One group to set up the quantum relay network, another to stage a daring raid on the Devourers' vanguard, and a third to protect Earth and the other inhabited worlds of the solar system. As the meeting adjourned, Admiral Chen pulled Zara aside. I'm putting you in charge of the relay team. This plan hinges on your tech working flawlessly. Zara swallowed hard, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. I won't let you down, Admiral. Humanity or Voidborn, we're all in this together now. Outside, the skies above Earth shimmered with the combined might of human and Voidborn ships. News broadcasts showed people around the world preparing for the fight of their lives. In labs and factories, on ships and stations, a sense of unity and purpose drove everyone forward. As Part 2 drew to a close, the Galactic Alliance stood on the precipice of the greatest challenge it had ever faced. The next few days would determine whether they would rise to meet that challenge or be consumed by the relentless tide of the Devourers. The stage was set for a battle that would echo across the stars for eons to come. As the Devourers approached, Earth became a hive of frenetic activity. The plan to create a quantum relay network was dubbed Operation Stardust, and Zara found herself at its helm. Her team, a mix of human engineers and void-born energy manipulators, worked tirelessly to prepare the relay stations. Meanwhile, Admiral Chen and General Williams coordinated the defensive strategy. The Voidborn's illusion gambit had bought them precious time, but it wouldn't last forever. Every moment counted. In a bold move, Dr. Patel proposed an audacious plan. "We've been studying the Devourer's biology," she explained to the War Council. "They operate on a hive mind, yes, but it's not just a strength. It's also a potential weakness." The room fell silent as Dr. Patel continued. "If we could introduce a disruptive element into their collective consciousness, we might be able to sow chaos in their ranks." General Williams leaned forward, intrigued. "What kind of disruptive element are we talking about, Doctor?" Dr. Patel took a deep breath. "Humanity's greatest strength has always been our individuality, our capacity for independent thought. I propose we create a virus, not a biological one, but a mimetic one. An idea so powerful, so fundamentally human, that it could shatter the Devourer's unity." The concept was met with skepticism at first. How could mere ideas stand against a force that consumed entire worlds? But as Dr. Patel elaborated, a spark of hope began to ignite. The plan was risky, unprecedented, and entirely human in its audacity. They would need to get close enough to the Devourer fleet to transmit the mimetic virus directly into their hive mind. It would require a small team to undertake what amounted to a suicide mission. As volunteers were called for, a young pilot named Kai Chen, Admiral Chen's nephew, stepped forward. "I'll do it," he said, his voice steady despite the fear in his eyes. "For Earth, for all of us." Admiral Chen's face was a mask of professional calm, but those who knew her could see the turmoil beneath. She nodded once, sharply. "Assemble your team, Lieutenant Chen. You leave in 6 hours." As Kai prepared for his mission, Zara and her team raced against time to complete the quantum relay network. Each station had to be precisely calibrated, a task made all the more challenging by the need for secrecy. The Devourers couldn't be allowed to discover their plan. On the fringes of the solar system, the first skirmishes began. Human and Voidborn ships engaged the Devourer scouts, buying time and gathering crucial intelligence. The reports that came back were sobering. The enemy's capabilities exceeded even the Voidborn's worst fears. In a secure lab deep beneath the Himalayan mountains, Dr. Patel and a team of xenobiologists, psychologists, and cultural anthropologists worked to create the mimetic virus. They distilled the essence of human experience, love, hope, defiance, individuality, into a package of information that could be transmitted directly into the Devourer hive mind. As the deadline approached, tension mounted. Zara's team had managed to deploy most of the relay stations, but 2 crucial nodes remained unfinished. Without them, the network would be incomplete, leaving gaps in their defenses. In a desperate bid to buy more time, Admiral Chen authorized a diversionary attack. A fleet of drone ships, piloted remotely, would engage the Devourer vanguard. It was a costly gambit, but it worked. The enemy's attention was divided, allowing Zara's team to finish their work. Just as the last relay station came online, alarms blared throughout the system. The Devourers had seen through the illusion and were now advancing en masse towards Earth. Kai Chen and his small team launched in their specially modified ship, the Trojan Horse. Cloaked by Voidborn technology and human ingenuity, they slipped past the Devourer's outer defenses, heading for the heart of the enemy fleet. Back on Earth, Zaret initiated the startup sequence for the Nexus cannon. Energy began to flow through the quantum relay network, building to levels never before achieved by human technology. The combined power of humanity and the Voidborn surged through the system, ready to be unleashed. As Part 3 came to a close, the stage was set for the final confrontation. Kay's team carried the hopes of two species on their daring mission. Zara stood ready to unleash the full power of the Nexus cannon. And in orbit around Earth, the combined fleets of humanity and the Voidborn prepared to make their stand. The fate of the galaxy hung in the balance, with humanity's unconventional solution about to be put to the ultimate test. The vastness of space was shattered by the apocalyptic light of battle. The Devourer fleet, a writhing mass of biomechanical horrors, bore down on Earth's defenses. Admiral Chen's voice crackled over the comms, steady despite the chaos. All ships, engage as planned. Remember, we just need to hold them off until the Trojan horse reaches its target. Aboard the Trojan horse, Lieutenant Kai Chen and his team navigated through a maze of enemy vessels. Their ship, enhanced with Voidborn cloaking technology, slipped past the outer defenses of the Devourer Armada. Kay's hands were steady on the controls, but sweat beaded on his brow. "We're approaching the central node," he reported, preparing to transmit the package. Back on Earth, Zara Rodriguez stood in the control room of the Nexus cannon, surrounded by a team of human engineers and Voidborn energy manipulators. Holographic displays showed the quantum relay network humming with power. "Energy levels are holding steady," she announced. "We're ready to fire on your command, Admiral." The battle raged across the solar system. Human fighters darted between lumbering Devourer ships, their weapons barely scratching the massive hulls. Voidborn vessels phased in and out of reality, striking from impossible angles before vanishing again. But for every enemy ship destroyed, two more seemed to take its place. General Williams' voice cut through the chaos. "We've lost the Mars perimeter. They're breaking through." Admiral Chen's response was immediate. "All ships, fall back to secondary positions. Zara, we need that cannon now." "We can't fire yet," Zara replied, her voice tense. "If we use the Nexus cannon before the mimetic virus is uploaded, we'll lose our only chance to end this." On the Trojan horse, Kai and his team had reached their target, a massive structure at the heart of the Devourer fleet that seemed to pulse with malevolent intelligence. "This is it," Kai said, his voice barely above a whisper. "Initiating upload now." As the mimetic virus began to stream into the Devourer hive mind, the effect was immediate and dramatic. Ships across the enemy fleet began to move erratically, colliding with each other or firing at random. The unified assault faltered, becoming chaotic and disorganized. "It's working," Dr. Patel exclaimed, monitoring the situation from her lab. "The virus is disrupting their hive mind." But the victory was short-lived. A massive energy surge erupted from the central Devourer ship, engulfing the Trojan horse. Kay's voice came through one last time, filled with static, mission accompli, before cutting off entirely. Admiral Chen allowed herself only a moment of grief before refocusing on the battle. "Zara, fire the Nexus cannon now." Zara's fingers flew over the controls, initiating the firing sequence. The quantum relay network lit up like a constellation, channeling unimaginable amounts of energy towards the Nexus cannon. The weapon hummed to life, its barrel glowing with barely contained power. A lance of pure energy erupted from the cannon, cutting through space itself. It struck the heart of the Devourer fleet, right where the Trojan horse had made its last stand. The blast expanded outward in a sphere of blinding light, engulfing ship after ship. When the light faded, nearly half of the Devourer fleet had been reduced to drifting debris. The remaining ships, still reeling from the effects of the mimetic virus, began to retreat in disarray. A cheer went up across the human and Voidborn fleets. They had done it. Against all odds, they had turned the tide. But the victory came at a heavy cost. As damage reports flooded in, the true scale of devastation became clear. Entire colonies had been lost, millions of lives snuffed out in the conflict. In the aftermath, Admiral Chen stood on the observation deck of the UES Defiant, looking out at the scarred face of Earth. The Voidborn emissary materialized beside her, its energy form dimmed with what seemed like exhaustion. "We have won a great victory today," the emissary said, its voice a whisper in Chen's mind. "But I fear this is only the beginning." Chen nodded grimly. "The Devourers will be back. And next time, they'll be ready for us." She turned to face the emissary, her expression resolute. "We need to take the fight to them." As the sun rose over a battered but unbroken Earth, plans were already being made. The Galactic Alliance would not wait for the next attack. They would push outward, reclaiming lost territories and searching for other civilizations to join their cause. The battle was over, but the war had just begun. And humanity, standing shoulder to shoulder with their new allies, was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. In the months following the Devourer's retreat, the Galactic Alliance worked tirelessly to fortify Earth and expand their defenses. Zara Rodriguez, now heading the newly formed Nexus Division, oversaw the construction of a network of Nexus cannons throughout the solar system. Each one was a testament to the combined ingenuity of humans and Voidborn. Admiral Chen, promoted to Fleet Admiral, led the charge to take the fight to the enemy. "We can't just wait for them to regroup," she argued in a tense War Council meeting. "We need to strike while they're still reeling." Intelligence gathered by Voidborn scouts had located a massive Devourer staging ground in a distant star system. The planet, dubbed Nexus Prime, seemed to be a focal point for the enemy's operations. Dr. Patel, who had been studying the data from the mimetic virus attack, stepped forward. "If we can capture Nexus Prime, we might be able to unravel the secrets of the Devourer hive mind. It could be the key to ending this war once and for all." The plan was audacious. A full-scale assault on Nexus Prime, combining the might of the human fleet, Voidborn energy manipulation, and the disruptive power of an improved mimetic virus. It would be the largest military operation in human history. As preparations were made, Zara found herself working closely with a Voidborn scientist named Lysander. Together, they developed a portable version of the Nexus cannon technology, a weapon that could be deployed on the ground during the invasion. "If we can get close enough," Zara explained, hefting the prototype, "we can disrupt their local network. It might give our ground forces the edge they need." The day of the assault arrived. A massive fleet of human and Voidborn ships dropped out of FTL on the outskirts of the Nexus Prime system. The planet loomed before them, a dark, roiling mass surrounded by a cloud of Devourer ships. Admiral Chen's voice rang out across the fleet. "This is it, people. Everything we've fought for comes down to this moment. For Earth, for the Voidborn, for every species the Devourers have ever threatened. Attack." The battle erupted in a dazzling display of energy weapons and Voidborn phase-shifting tactics. Human fighters darted between larger capital ships, drawing enemy fire and creating openings for devastating strikes. On the bridge of the flagship, Chen coordinated the assault with cold precision. "Group Alpha, push forward to Sector 7. Beta Squadron, cover their flank. Voidborn units, prepare for phase shift on my mark." But the Devourers had learned from their previous defeat. Their ships moved with a new level of coordination, adapting quickly to Alliance tactics. The battle hung in the balance, neither side able to gain a decisive advantage. That's when Zara's team made their move. A specially equipped dropship, carrying Zara, Lysander, and a team of elite soldiers, slipped through the chaos of the space battle. They aimed for a massive structure on the planet's surface that seemed to pulse with malevolent energy. As they approached, Devourer defenses concentrated on their ship. "We're taking heavy fire," the pilot shouted. "We can't get any closer." Zara shared a look with Lysander. The Voidborn's energy form pulsed with determination. "We'll make our own way," Lysander said. In a daring maneuver, Lysander enveloped the team in a cocoon of Voidborn energy. They phased out of the ship moments before it exploded, reappearing on the surface of Nexus Prime. The ground battle was chaos. Human and Voidborn forces fought side by side against waves of Devourer drones. Zara's portable Nexus cannon proved its worth, creating pockets of disruption that allowed the Alliance forces to gain ground. As they fought their way towards the central structure, Zara couldn't help but think of Kai and his sacrifice. His bravery had given them this chance, and she was determined not to waste it. The team finally reached the heart of the Devourer complex. Inside, they found something unexpected. A massive pulsating organ that seemed to be the nexus of the hive mind. "This is it," Dr. Patel's voice crackled over their comms. "If you can disrupt that, we might be able to sever their connection across the entire galaxy." Zara and Lysander worked frantically to calibrate the Nexus cannon for this new target. Around them, the battle raged on, both in space and on the ground. Everything hinged on this moment. As Part 5 drew to a close, Zara's finger hovered over the trigger of the Nexus cannon. The fate of the galaxy, the culmination of months of sacrifice and struggle, all came down to this single moment. The battle for Nexus Prime was about to reach its climax, with consequences that would reshape the future of both humanity and the Voidborn. Zara's finger trembled as it hovered over the Nexus cannon's trigger. The pulsating organ of the Devourer hive mind loomed before her, its alien presence oppressive and terrifying. Lysander's energy form flickered beside her, a comforting blue glow amidst the chaos. "Now, Zara," Lysander's voice echoed in her mind. "We won't get another chance." With a deep breath, Zara pulled the trigger. The Nexus cannon hummed to life, channeling an impossible amount of energy through its circuits. A beam of pure, blinding light erupted from the weapon, striking the heart of the Devourer hive mind. The effect was immediate and catastrophic. The organ convulsed, tendrils of dark energy lashing out wildly. Zara and Lysander were thrown back by the force of the blast, saved only by the quick intervention of Lysander's energy shield. Above them, in the space battle raging around Nexus Prime, the change was equally dramatic. Devourer ships suddenly lost coordination, colliding with each other or firing at random. The unified assault that had pushed the Alliance to its limits crumbled into chaos. Admiral Chen's voice crackled over the comms, tight with controlled excitement. "Whatever you did down there, it's working. All ships press the advantage." The tide of battle turned swiftly. Without their hive mind to coordinate them, the Devourers were no match for the combined might of humanity and the Voidborn. One by one, enemy ships fell silent or retreated into the depths of space. On the surface of Nexus Prime, Zara and her team fought their way back to the extraction point. The planet itself seemed to be rebelling, tectonic activity increasing as the Devourer influence waned. As the last transport ship lifted off, Zara looked back at the alien world. The massive Devourer structure was collapsing in on itself, taking with it the secrets of an ancient and terrible civilization. In the days that followed, the full scale of their victory became clear. The disruption of the hive mind on Nexus Prime had sent shockwaves through the entire Devourer network. Reports came in from across the galaxy of Devourer forces retreating or falling into disarray. A month after the Battle of Nexus Prime, Admiral Chen stood before the United Galactic Council, a newly formed body representing both human and voidborn interests. Today, we stand at the dawn of a new era. Chen began, her voice carrying across the grand chamber. The devourer threat has been pushed back, but not eliminated. Our victory has bought us time to prepare, to grow stronger, and to reach out to other civilizations who may have suffered under the devourer's shadow. She gestured to the assembled delegates, a mix of humans and the shimmering energy forms of the Voidborn. Our alliance was born of necessity, but it has become something far greater. We have proven that together, we are more than the sum of our parts. The challenges we faced forced us to innovate, to push beyond what we thought possible. Zara, seated in the audience next to Lysander, felt a swell of pride. The technologies they had developed together, the Nexus cannon, the mimetic virus, the phase shift drives, were already being adapted for peaceful purposes. The quantum relay network that had been crucial to their defense was now the backbone of a new, faster-than-light communication system. But our work is not done, Chen continued, her expression growing serious. The galaxy is vast, and there are still threats out there we can scarcely imagine. We must remain vigilant, united, and committed to the principles that have brought us this far. As Chen's speech concluded, the chamber erupted in applause. Humans and Voidborn alike celebrated not just their victory, but the promise of a shared future. In the years that followed, the alliance between humanity and the Voidborn only grew stronger. Joint colonies were established, blending the best of both species' technologies and cultures. The quantum relay network expanded, linking distant star systems in a web of instantaneous communication. Zara found herself at the forefront of this new age of exploration and discovery. Her work with Lysander continued, pushing the boundaries of what was possible when human ingenuity and voidborn energy manipulation worked in tandem. And always, in the back of their minds, was the knowledge that the devourers were still out there. Weakened, scattered, but not destroyed. The threat of their return drove the Alliance to continue innovating, to reach further into the stars, seeking new allies and new technologies to safeguard their hard-won peace. As Zara stood on the observation deck of humanity's first intergalactic exploration vessel, she reflected on how far they had come. The ship hummed with the power of a miniaturized Nexus core, preparing for its maiden voyage to the Andromeda Galaxy. Lysander materialized beside her, its energy form pulsing with excitement. "Are you ready?" the Voidborn asked. Zara smiled, her eyes fixed on the sea of stars before them. "Ready as we'll ever be. Let's see what's out there." With a flash of quantum energy, the ship disappeared into the void, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of two species united in their quest for knowledge and their determination to forge a brighter future among the stars. The end of the Devourer War had marked not just a victory, but the beginning of a new chapter in galactic history. Whatever challenges lay ahead, humanity and the Voidborn would face them together, their alliance a beacon of hope in the vast, unknown expanse of the universe.